So now that I look back and I'm looking at how, a lot of people they're they're scared. You understand? A lot of people are scared. They don't understand what's taking place, and dealing with this COVID-19 business. You know, um, it's a whole lot you should be worried about. It's a
Yeah,
whole
a
lot
lot
you
of
should be
people.
scared of. It's a whole lot that people don't realize the seriousness of what's happening with the COVID-19 epidemic. Like I said, me personally, I have I have felt the personal and close effects of this virus. Me personally, because like I said, my aunt have succumbed to the virus, and four of my cousins have succumbed to this virus, and me not being able to go to a viewing or go to you know a funeral to properly see her away. It bothers me. You know what I mean? And it sucks that I have to be in that position. But what do we do? You know, if we're trying to abide by the guidelines, because she lives in New York, or she lived in New York, and that's where she succumbed to the virus. And it wasn't even something that she did. Somebody that was in a room in a hospital with her had it, and she got it from that person, and she happened to succumb to it. So, with all of that being said, man, it's hard. It's hard to to see those type of things taking place. It's hard to, have to. It's hard to have that happen in your processing what you're going through in the moment and at that given time. All of that in itself is hard, because when I look at it, it's like my family members succumbed to it, but I'm trying to do my best to make sure that my family, me, and my immediate family don't get it. When we're going out, we're putting a mask on. And now, since Saturday, it's mandatory. Since yesterday, it's mandatory now in our state of Maryland that you have to have it on anytime you go into any place, gas station, or whether it be Walmart or wherever. You're mandatory now to have the mask on. And they're supposed to be having a rally yesterday. They're supposed to have had a rally petitioning the reopening of the state. Now, do I think that's a good idea? I don't think it's a good idea. I think that people are not ready right now. They're not ready to have the state open, because the reality have not set into a lot of people. Yes, people got cabin fever. Yes, they're on their phones playing games all day. They're not really doing nothing, but the reality of somebody passing away that's in your family, you understand, that right there in itself brings it home to you. And the more that we try to ignore that this is a serious situation, and the more that we keep trying to get things back to normal, the more that we miss the point. Are we doing what we're supposed to do to make sure that this does not hit every household in America? I mean, I'm doing what I can. When I go out, I got the mask. When I come home, I'm taking my clothes off. I'm kind of putting them aside. Little things. I got my sanitizer in my car. What's up, Jay Thirst? I kind of got my things, programmed from each day to day what I'm doing to prevent myself from getting it, because I'm out there. I'm a first responder, if you want to call it, because I'm out there. My job is still going on. They gave me a paper, so if I get stopped, during this curfew business, they're not going to, lock me up or whatever the case is. So I'm out there. I'm out there dealing with this. And the thing about it is, I know it's serious because, my sister, her boyfriend had got it. You understand what I'm saying? And, she said for about 4 days he got sick, and boom, started to come out of it. And he works in the medical field. You understand? And he got it. So yeah, it's more serious in other places than others. Like, of course, New York City is bigger. I'm in Baltimore, smaller, but still, the spread of it can be it can be all over the city if we're not taking the proper precautions to not get it. You know what I mean? There's people walking around coughing and hacking and doing all kind of stuff, and the first thing you think is, "Oh my God, they got it." I gotta stay away from anybody coughing, sneezing. They could be having allergies, and we're panicking. But I understand, and I'm not knocking nobody for having that level of anxiety in them to panic when they hear a sneeze or cough. But what I am saying is that's where we are. That's where we should be. We should be at the point now that we're not taking no precaution. I mean, we're not taking, we're not going to take it lightly that this is happening, because it didn't feel real. This corona business and how it's spreading and all of this don't even seem real. The lockdown don't even seem real. But the reality is I have family members that passed away from it. So eventually it hits home it hits home, and then you're like, wow, damn, this is happening. I'm locked up. I'm locked in the house and I'm not doing nothing. And that's what it is. But what do we do from here? I hear all of the channels talking about, is it the covert 19 and 5G? Is 5G causing the covert 19 to spread? And is 5G the end? And what, blah, 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 blah. I hear a lot about the 5G. Then I hear the covert breaking down that, it attacks white Caucasians more than it does the blacks, because the virus was like it was something that was based off of an animal first. So it's going to click with animal genes and before it can start to spread on to other genes and all of this gene stuff. And I can't front. I don't know a lot about how it attacks other than the little bit that I've read. But what I can say is now they flip the narrative to black people having it more than white people and more than any race. And that's the last thing I was hearing, is that now we can get it faster than anybody. So there's a lot of wordplay and there's a lot of things that, are going that they're going back and forth about when it comes to the COVID-19 business. You understand? So what I feel is best, you take the precautions for your family. You know what's best for your family. You take your own advice. You do what needs to be done in your family to keep your family healthy, safe. Okay, 1 minute the news will pump it up for this, and then the next minute it changes. At one particular time, I was like, you know what? I think the numbers are inflated. Yeah, they were saying that it's 10,000 in New York City, and then the rate of people dying is increasing, and then in Baltimore alone was 16,000, and then in the surrounding counties around Baltimore, boom, here it is. There was 4,000 in one county, Baltimore 16,000. Then it went to another county having 2,000. So there's been a lot of fluctuation in the death rate in each one of these states. And I'm like, wow, okay, so are we to believe that those many people are dying? Are these people dying and then they're classifying it as a COVID-19 situation? I mean, that's a lot to think about. It's a lot to think about. And those numbers scare people no matter who you are. You get scared when you start to hear 10,000 people dying because of this. And although I've had, as of now, 5 family members, 4 in North Carolina and 1 in New York, to pass away from this, still the reality of that many people dying it's mind-boggling. And the crazy part about it is a lot of people, and I'm out there in the markets and I'm out there every single day, but a lot of people are buying things that I'm not understanding. They're buying tissue, and seriously, I'm not This is no fabrication. You go into some markets, the whole tissue aisle is completely empty. Completely. All the shells, boom, boom, gone. The Lysol and all those type of things, all of that stuff is gone. And these are what people are stocking up on, and they're gathering these things because of, I guess, a shutdown, a total shutdown maybe. And I guess they're saying, okay, if they're totally shut down, I'll have some toilet tissue. But whatever. Back in the day, I mean, if you didn't have toilet tissue, shoot, you wet your rag and you wipe, you do other things if you didn't have toilet tissue. So I don't know if that would be the first thing I would grab. I would make sure I have some, but I wouldn't go crazy if I didn't. And to be honest with you, now we're at the state now where I feel like anything can go. The government could put anything into place. They can say anything. What are we to do? What can we do? People are laid off. Unemployment around the whole entire country. I think they said it was 5 point something million people filed for unemployment. I mean, what do you do after this? They'll shut everything down, but there's nothing more that you can do other than in your personal home figure out a game plan for your particular family on what you should do and what direction you should go. Because, okay, now they're giving a stimulus, okay? You should have got your $1,000, $1,200, $1,500. I don't know how much it is. I didn't get mine yet, but, people are getting these stimuluses. I know, hey, man, I got my stimulus. I got a couple of people that called me up and was like, yeah, I got mine. It dropped in my bank account. And a couple of people was, yeah, I got mine. Okay, I didn't get mine. But what are you going to do with the stimulus once you get it? I went to Walmart the other day. People coming out there with TVs, and the first thing, I mean, it was unreal. It was like 2 or 3 people that had TVs in their carts, 55, one had a 45. I said, okay, so they must have got their stimulus, and that's what they do. They go buy TVs, but not keeping in mind that they got bills that they have to pay because they haven't been working. They've been eating a lot. They've been staying home all day. So, and I don't count people's money. People do what they want to do. You understand? They do what they want to do. That's their business. But what I will say is you have to have some type of game plan and some type of backup plan for after this. You understand? Because it's going to get worse. But for after this happens and the transition from coming out of the COVID-19 back into, some normalization or some normalized business. I mean, we have to move on, but we have to have a game plan. And my thing would be, I suggest that it wouldn't just be, okay, you go out and spend your stimulus checks on some foolish stuff, because to be honest with you, after that, you're going to be right back into robbing Peter to pay Paul. And maybe you're not. Maybe you're still working. Maybe you got money. But there's a lot of people who don't. And it's going to get very difficult because bill collectors are now going to be coming aggressively after the creditee or the person who owes the money. And they're going to be calling because they're not getting paid from a lot of people. So now, in order to keep themselves afloat or in order to keep things on track, they're going to be coming after you that have credit with them and you owe. And watch what I'm telling you. It's about to get crazy. And you heard it from Ace. This is about to get real. You understand? And we have to be prepared mentally. We have to be prepared spiritually. We have to have our eyes open, and we gotta focus on, we gotta focus on what is going to take us to the next step with understanding this whole situation. All right. Some people say it's an attack from the Chinese. Some people say it's an attack on the American people, and some people say the government have something to do. So there's a lot of things floating out there about what it is, what's taking place, and how all of these different entities could be a part of a big conspiracy. They say it was leaked from China, and then they say it came to the States, and now it's all over the States, and now this is the issue that we're dealing with. But me personally, if I was to give my own opinion, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if solely the government had something to do with it. They could have. I wouldn't rule it out because there's so many different things that have happened through the history of mankind that once government have gotten into play, that you could say the government had something to do with it, or it's a conspiracy, but I'm leaning towards the government did have a lot to do with it. So there's different things that can tell us that, yes, the government had a lot to do with situations. With this in particular, I wouldn't put it past them. I'm not going to say they totally have something to do with it, but I would not put it past them knowing about it's going to happen to us on these soils. That's all I'm saying. Because, to be honest with you, they have a lot they have a lot that they're going to gain from this. The government. Don't get it twisted. The government is going to have a lot to gain because now the average person in America has now having to deal and solely depend on the government bailing them out. Now, let's not get it twisted. Businesses are having to get small loans in order for them to be bailed out from going under. From who? The government, right? Now people are getting these stimulus checks to kind of keep them afloat from what? From not going into financial debt and in ruins. So what's happening is the government is issuing out money, issuing out checks. So don't think that the government is not benefiting from the suffering of the American people under this COVID-19 virus. Don't think it, because they are. But what I will say is now that they have us in their hands, how do they move from that position to now getting us back stable? Because they're only showing us what is to come. A new world order, a one world system, where you're solely governed by one government and totally under their control. Just think about that. I'm not saying that this is the issue at hand, but I'm giving you something to think about that this could happen. Because if you look at it deep beyond the surface, all of this stuff happening is not coincidental. And then people can capitalize off it, but who stands to gain more? Yes, the government might be issuing money out to people, but I guarantee you one thing, they're going to get the money back. We know the government is going to get the money back that they're issuing out some way or another. Whether they go up on taxes, whether the grocery markets and they start to go up on fees and all of this stuff in the market, somewhere they're going to get that money. They have to. There's no way that the government can issue that amount of money to businesses that are going under, to families that are going under, and people getting loans and all of this other stuff, banks getting loans. There's no way that they're not going to recoup that money back. They have to. They have to. So, yes, they're saying, okay, we might not have to pay this stimulus back, but yes, I feel eventually they'll get it out of us some way or other. They always do. They always do. They always do. The last thing that was issued to us with Obama when they gave out the stimulus around his era, they went up on taxes. They went up on taxes, and it came right out of our pockets. That's facts. That's facts. Came right out of our pockets. And the taxpayers had to worry about our stuff going up, different healthcare stuff going up, all of that stuff. And they attacked it in that manner because they had to say, okay, we got to get the money back. There's no way you can just get this amount of money out and we don't get it back somehow. So they had to disguise it under different things, under allowing, car insurance to go up, health taxes to go up. Now the Obamacare, now you have to pay for your health care now, mandatory to pay for it. They got it back. They got it back. They got their money back. by making you pay for your insurance. It wasn't in black and white just telling you that you got to pay it back. They just disguised it under something else. So watch what they do now. It's going to be the same thing. They'll disguise you having to pay that money back some way or other in some type of way. You're going to have to pay for it. But the individual, the families, you have to have some type of game plan to get through this period in time, right? To be able to sail in this particular storm. You got to be able to sail through a lot of the rough waves and a lot of the rough turbulence in this storm. You have to be able to ride this out. And once you get past the hard times of this storm, watch how things will be much clearer to you, because you have to have a better understanding of who, when, and why. Okay, who's allowing this, why they're allowing this, and how they're allowing this. Once we get that embedded into our everyday lives, we can adjust to be able to start to either work with it or work against it. And what I mean by not saying work with it as of working with the people who are conspiring this to happen for a negative reason. No, what I'm saying work with it is you got to learn how to take what's bad and turn it into good for you. Everybody does things different, but whatever you can take that's bad in your life and change it around and make it work for you, then that's something you're doing to combat your situations at that particular moment in time. Like I said, people are in foreclosure, losing homes because they can't pay this, they can't pay that. There's different things that each families across this United States are dealing with, that other people can capitalize on. And it's sad to say, but that's just what it's going to be. When we get back up into going, whether it's going to be a positive direction or a negative direction, whatever direction we're going to be going, henceforth, getting into these later months, you'll be able to start to see just how damaged our families are throughout the states. You'll be able to see just how much damage the coronavirus has actually done. Right now, they're giving body counts. They're giving numbers about, what is this and what is that. That's to keep you in fear. But we don't actually know from state to state the actual damage that each families are suffering. They're not putting that out. You understand? But there's a lot of people right now that are in turmoil, that are suffering, because the first month, you're dealing with it. The first month, okay, we go to the market, buy some food, boom, we good, right? Okay. Second month is like, okay, now we in the house shut up, we ain't working, okay, ain't no money coming in. Okay. Third month, bill collectors, they like, look, I understand you in your crisis, and I understand these are hard times, but we need a payment. You get what I'm saying? Especially if you got more than one or two kids. If you got more than one or two kids, you got to feed them. They home all day. They ain't in school. They eating all day. So it's a little different. It's a little different. And you start to notice how, things change from day to day. Your mood changed from day to day. 1 minute you cool, you got it together, you cool collective, and then the next minute, you kind of all over the place, and it's like you ready to, you ready to chop the kids' heads off and do crazy stuff. You feel me? AKA Chief Chopper Foots. What's up, man? What's good? ATF, what's good? But we have to have a game plan, and that's facts. We have to have a game plan on how we're going to carry this thing going henceforth. All right? There's a couple of channels I salute for bringing in hard facts about the origins of the coronavirus. There's channels that have been putting out about, the dangers of the coronavirus. Then there's channels who are talking about 5G and bringing people that specialize in these different things. So you can go to the YouTube and get different flavors of what's taking place. You know, you can pick and choose what you feel in your heart is guiding you in the right direction to mentally adjust to this type of stuff that's going on. You understand what I'm saying? And I feel like after we all, you know, start to get on one accord and deal with this thing as it's coming, deal with it as a people, deal with it as a nation, then we'll start to see our families start to grow and get into a better and a positive, more light. Now, some people said that there was going to be, you know, there's going to be another stimulus check sent out. How true that is, I don't know. But if there is something else going to be coming out, I definitely feel in my heart if there's another stimulus check that the government is going to get it back from the American people some way, somehow. And I just feel that. Because the first one basically is going to feed the economy. Excuse me. So the first one is going to feed the economy. The first check that was. So the first check that we have gotten is to get the economy going back to some degree. You understand what I'm saying? It's going to give a little bit of push into the economy because there at one point nobody wasn't spending nothing but, you know, going out and getting dry noodles, bread, toilet tissue, bleach, Lysol, the essential things. And that's basically all they, you know, was buying because out of fear, they was not putting a whole lot into other things. Sneaker stores are closed. You can't really go to the clothing stores are closed outside of the dollar store being open, Dollar General, Dollar this, you know, but the main, you know, source of income stores like going to the malls are closed. All of those J.C. Penney's and Macy's, all those stores are closed. So you know, they're not getting anything. I agree to some extent. Well, I totally agree. Once we have hit rock bottom, I mean, once we really have hit rock bottom, and learn that, you know, you have to take the precautions to save your own life. It's just like if you was out there sleeping around, and you know, AIDS and all these different diseases are out there. If you get something, you can't get mad at the person who gave it to you. You understand what I'm saying? You got to get mad at yourself because you did not take the precautions to protect yourself. You understand what I'm saying? This is sort of the same thing. The coronavirus, you can't get mad if you get it. You take the precautions not to get it. And with that helps you and your family stay in the clear. You understand? Like I said, I've had 5 family members pass away from the coronavirus, and just a couple of days ago, I have an aunt that passed away from it. And, you know, it hurts that I can't be there, and it hurts that I won't be able to go to a funeral. But that's the reality, and that's what we're dealt with. And it's here. It's not going anywhere. And I see this being an issue that's going to carry on, you know, well past, you know, May, June. You know, this is something that's probably going to continue into the, you know, the first of next year, maybe January, February of next year. But I pray that, you know, that this is something that's not drawn out, but that's all we can do. We can just pray, protect ourselves, stay focused, keep moving. And that's really all we can do. But, you know, yeah, and a lot of times before anybody can get reality set in, they have to hit rock bottom. They have to, for whatever it is. You know, when a person, it's something about when a person has everything stripped from them is when they realize that that they're in a situation that they could have moved better in, that they could have did things better, that they could have, did this versus this. That's when people start to wake up, is when they hit rock bottom. And me personally, I haven't did everything that I was supposed to do, but now after doing a lot of researching and looking at certain videos and looking at things, I'm like, hey, I need to take this more serious. And after family members dying, yeah, I had to take it serious. Because I wasn't wearing my mask everywhere I went. I would wear it sometimes and sometimes I wouldn't. Now I got it on every day, all day. It's because I understand that, man, it's out here. And you don't know who have it. You just hope and pray that you don't come in contact with somebody who has it. But think about if you're out there in the field every single day, somebody has to have it, and you at some point have to come across somebody who has it. At some point. Especially if you're doing a job that you're around people all day, like I have. I'm around people all day long. And the likeliness of somebody not having it versus having it, I probably at one point came across somebody that had it. But if by me having my mask on and by me sanitizing my hands, I'm praying that nothing gets transferred to me or to my family. And that's just what it is. And, shout outs to all of the big channels that are, emphasizing the coronavirus and putting light on to the conspiracies behind it, the government ties to China with it, different, platforms that can benefit from it, the mainstream platforms. I'm talking YouTube, but I'm talking about, mainstream platforms that are benefiting from the misleading people about the corona and inflating how many people passed away from it versus didn't. So, salute to all of the channels that are, shedding light on this from many perspectives, not just one, but many different perspectives. The perspectives of, breaking it down to who's more susceptible to getting it. Not just saying one particular race of people is going to get it versus the other. Because, to be honest with you, we're all in the same boat right now. You understand? White, black, Chinese, Korean, any African, all of us can get it. It's, and this what makes this epidemic so crazy is not just that one particular person or group of people, not persons, but group of people can get it, but anybody can get it. So that puts us all in the same playing field. That puts us all at ground zero. It doesn't matter if you have money or you don't have money. It don't matter if you're successful or non-successful. It don't matter if you're a bum or if you're wealthy. Whatever your situation is, anybody can get it. And that's what's so scary about the COVID-19 is that anybody can get it. Because at first it was like they said white people are more successful getting it than black people. Now it's switched that more black people got it than the actual white people have it. So it's going back and forth, man. It's kind of it's all over the place as of what ethnic group is more successful to getting it versus the other. But like I said, I have family members that have gotten it, and I just have to do what I have to do to make sure that, I'm not running my family in the risk of catching it. People are being irresponsible. I see people walking around here in Baltimore, Maryland, and they're not wearing no protective facial covering or nothing, man. And it just shows me the mentality of our people. They don't think nothing stinks until they actually got their face in the shit. I mean, pardon my French, but that's just what it is. They're not really realizing how serious this is until something happens in their own backyard, but it's already here. You understand what I'm saying? We're already at that point now. It's in our backyards right now. It's in our face. So for us to play games, this is not time for nobody to be playing games. This is time to be serious, head on about our business, making sure that we are not caught up in any of the foolishness or things that are actually taking place out here in the streets. You understand? I like memes and I like laughing and I like things that are funny. But to be honest with you, this is a serious matter, and each family should take it as serious as the next family in order for us to move out of the circumstances that we're in and move to a positive or a more positive or brighter day. And I feel like, me just coming on, doing my little part, just talking about it, although I'm a small channel, but I'm just saying, I feel like if I'm just reiterating what some of the bigger channels are talking about and reiterating some of the things that should and should not go on, that'll just keep it on your mind. I mean, there's a whole lot of people out there right now on YouTube that are full throttle with this thing. Rightfully so. It should be talked about. It should be something that each family should be getting together to practice, safe and more effective ways to make sure their family doesn't get this coronavirus. And I appreciate, the fact that people are now waking up more now than ever. Whatever conspiracies could be tied or attached to this, whatever thing this is, whether it's an attack, whether it's to wake the people up, whether it's to hold a certain people back, whatever this is, now reality has set in that these things can happen not only overseas or somewhere else, but right here on our soil. You understand? Because outside of this, the only time I really thought about viruses and plagues and things was in Africa. I mean, if you want to keep it a buck, when the TV would come on and show the little African boys and little African kids having diseases and dying from not having food and impoverished and water being tainted and all that stuff, that's the only connection I've had with diseases and things, is seeing it on TV on a foreign land, like, in Africa. And I think Africa has, 52 countries within itself? You understand? Africa is big, man. It's not small. So that's the only time I've really, tied any viruses and things like that, was when I would see it on TV. And they would say, send $1 a day or 50 cents a day. That'll help feed a kid, and that will help get clean this and clean that, so they won't be dying over there in Africa. But now that now that it's here and it's spreading like an epidemic, and I'm not just talking about AIDS, because AIDS been around, since the 70s and 60s and 70s. I think AIDS really, really came out about in the 70s. But, those are diseases we're more familiar with. But the coronavirus hitting every state, actually it's been in every state. And then in China, and then, now it's like starting to be worldwide. It's not something that was just, over Africa and then over here. It's everywhere. You understand? And I feel like now there's going to be something else that's going to come in this form, in this way. And this is just me. I'm not scaring nobody. I'm not trying to, invoke feelings about this in particular, because this is a touchy situation. But what I do feel and what I do have a notion is that this is not going to be the first and the last time something like this happens. And what I say to the American people, what I say to the YouTube community, what I say to anybody is, now that we have an understanding about this can happen to us on our very soil, it can hit our homes, it can hit our bedrooms, and the fact that, see, the difference, and I want to make this clear, the difference between AIDS and the difference between a lot of the sexual diseases is that you have to have sexual contact with people in order to get it. This particular virus, you can cough in the air. Somebody can touch something and you can get it. And that right there in itself makes this more dangerous and should make this more of something you should be more concerned about more than AIDS and things, because if you're not sleeping with nobody, you don't have to worry about AIDS. You don't have to worry about syphilis, or you don't have to worry about those sexually transmitted diseases if you're not sleeping with nobody. And even if you're protecting yourself, you're still at risk, but you're not more at risk than this type of virus that's going around, that's airborne, that can be on surfaces for an amount of time that you can actually get it. You understand what I'm saying? So, with that being said, there's more precaution that you have to take dealing with the COVID-19 versus anything else, because of the way you can contract it. And me personally, that scares me more than anything else, is the way you can get it. And if you have some irresponsible person that could be sick, that refuses to be quarantined and refuses to be on restrictions, and that says, I don't care, I might be sick, I might have had it 3 days ago, but I feel fine today, I'm going out, and might not protect themselves, they might still potentially can pass it on to somebody because they're irresponsible. And I'm going to tell you something. I've seen some of the strangest things since this has been going on. I've been seeing people in not mall, but I was in the store. I seen somebody was walking around butt naked. Listen to what I'm telling you. This has been the craziest thing ever, seeing how people are adjusting to the actual virus, man, and being shut in the house, and people are going crazy, man. People are on the bus doing weird things. People are walking around the streets. They're just in panic. People are fearful and going. There's things I'm seeing now that to me, this is the last days. It doesn't get no worse than this, man. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. And I'm seeing people wilding out, doing things, and instead of people, getting themselves together, marching on, having a plan, seems like people are doing more cracking up than a little bit. Just here in Baltimore, there was two people that was in an argument in the same car, and both of these dummies shot each other and killed each other. They got off the cars, one staggered that way and one staggered the other way and dropped dead. One was 20, one was 18. And I'm like, it's that serious out here in the streets? Like, this really got us that messed up where we are not even operating and comprehending right. You understand what I'm saying? You that thuggish and that tough where both of y'all gonna shoot each other in the car? Y'all friends are having an argument and you're gonna shoot each other in the car. Now both of y'all so hard, both of y'all dead. You see how this is affecting with us, and I'm not gonna say in particular the virus has something to do with it, but why not? Why not associate it with the virus? Because if we was going on with business and life as usual, maybe that wouldn't have happened. But I'm going to say that might have had a small part to do with it. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe the argument happened in the house. They were shut in, got in the car, and got to arguing about something and killed each other. But that's how sensitive it is out here in the streets, in the atmosphere. That's how sensitive it is. People are been so closed up for so long now, it is messing with them. You understand what I'm saying? You can't do nothing. People, you're bored. You're in the house bored. And this is messing. People are not working. It's messing with them. People don't have the income like they had. It's messing with them. It's getting to everybody. But, as an encouragement, all I can say, man, you have to dig a little deeper within the core of your being, man, in your heart and your mind. And you have to, you have to strategize and have to plan a way, you understand, to be able to get through these hard times and not crack up. It's just what has to be done. It has to be done. You have to figure out a way to move forward without allowing yourself to mentally and physically crack up. You understand? And once you do that, and once you move in that direction, you'll begin to see, that you're making strides within your family. You can't save everybody, but within your personal family, there's things you can do that you can make, personal journeys and goals. You understand? Muhammad 72, what's up? Um, I feel like at some particular time we have to rise up to the occasion, and we have to start using more intellect instead of just allowing things to go with instead of allowing us to go with the flow. Um, we have to now start to use our intellect and start to use more engaging conversations when we're dealing with these particular topics and situations, because a lot of times, you know, we dumb down what we feel in our heart just to conversate on an average level or on a normal level with certain people. But now is the time to start pricking people's minds and brains to see where the average family member or the average friend, to see where they are about what they feel and what they know about what's taking place with COVID-19 and what could actually take place to come. That we have to do that. We have to do that. Opening up a conversation about this is not going to hurt, not going to kill anybody. Some people might know a little something about it, and some people might not. Some people might be like, you know what? Hey, I know about this. I know where it came from. I know a little bit about what Donald Trump said. And I know a little bit about what President this and Senator this said. And you might even know what your governor said in your state. You might know what, your Congress people are talking about. But this is the time where we start to bring more intellect into the conversation, because now we're going to be challenged on our intellect. You understand? And we're going to be challenged on what we know. Right now, they're aiding and abetting that we don't know anything about what's taking place when it comes to the COVID-19 virus. And they're just wanting us to take the opinions of what the news channels are saying and what some of the false advertising news channels are putting out there. That's just facts. That's just facts. They want us to take the first narrative that every news channel, your local JZ13 or your local, DC X5 or whatever, all of the stations out there, they want you to take the first narrative they throw out there, because that's how they control the massive. That's how they control the minds of the people. But once we start doing a little bit more research, once we start finding out for ourselves what is actually being talked about behind the scenes, what is actually being talked about in the Senates and the states, what they're actually planning to do with us. You understand, people? What do you think these people are planning to do with the average workers, with the average? I feel like this was specifically done for a reason. Whether it was to slow us economically, or whether it was to have us totally depending on the government, whatever this was, there was an agenda behind it. Period. Whether it was from China saying, hey, this is what we can do, we're just giving you a taste of what can actually happen. Because look how quick China bounced back. China's bounced back. Boom. They off. They off to the races. They gone. You understand what I'm saying? China is doing their thing. Now we shutting our states and our cities down, and here we are left in this pandemic where they're moving on. But maybe it could have been a warning shot. Maybe it could be something they sent like, hey, look, this is what we can do. You understand? Trump, call our bluff. We able to put a virus out there to attack your whole entire country. Boom. What you gonna do? We can attack every state you got. Now what? Now what you gonna do? So what if China is calling, the bluff of the United States? What if they're calling the bluff? What if they're putting this out there as a warning sign or a warning shot? You understand? To create some type of, war. Who knows? I don't. But it's not possible. It's not out of reach. You understand? It's not out of reach. But, I just want to say, we got to have something. What are we doing, from this point? What are we reaching for? What are we striving for? Every household should have something that they're striving for. Me personally, Me and my family, we still working. You know, the queen's working, I'm working. So, I'm able to save more than I've had in a long time, to be honest with you, because we're not frivolously spending now. We don't have nowhere to spend our money on. Like, everything is closed up. So we're actually saving more money than we have in a long time. But with that being said, also we're watching our spending, because we're not just buying repetitive things, and we're not just buying things that we don't need. We're kind of keeping a balance, and that's what we're doing personally. And me personally, I'm starting to gravitate more to learning about the situation, because in times past it wouldn't have bothered me. I wouldn't have cared less about this. As long as it didn't affect my household. But when I've learned some of my family members have passed away from this, it sparked more than just my interest. It sparked fear and curiosity. So as of now, I feel like I'm putting my family in a better position than I would have been if some of these things would not have taken place. But salute, like I said, to the channels that are bringing awareness, to the situation, and making it known, who could possibly and potentially be behind, this threat, that we have here in our states, and I'm proud of everybody, I'm proud of everybody that hold on. I'm proud of everybody. What the heck? Excuse me. I'm proud of everybody that's, taking the measures to protect themselves, making sure that, they got sanitizer and they're wearing masks. Proud of y'all, man. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing that great work of protecting, you and your family. And definitely, I don't know what's wrong with there's something wrong with my computer. I don't know what's wrong with this. I'm trying to type on my keyboard, letters going all over the place. But like I said, I'm proud of everybody that's taking the precautions to do what's needed to be done to protect their families. And basically that's all I have. I just want it to be an encouragement. Keep your heads up. It's tough times, but this is what shows who you are in this particular moment in time. This shows you who you are as an individual, how you arise to this occasion, how not to allow this to be something that's going to stop you, pull you down, that's going to keep you stagnant, but more or less push you forward to doing, what's needed to be done in your life to make sure you and your families are protected. I appreciate those who tuned in. I appreciate all the love that y'all throughout the years have shown. Your boy Ace. This is Ace from Ace Corner Talk. I've been around for a while, so those who continue to support me, I appreciate it. I don't ask for nothing. I don't get donations. I come on and I interact with the people, that are on YouTube, and the people across state to state that, look for something different in channels, that might can offer a little bit something different. I appreciate you tuning in, but I will be back. I just, I took time off of YouTube just to drop this onto the folks. It's not easy, going live and hitting live streams. It's not that easy when you got so much on your plate and you're trying to prioritize, what should be first, what should be last, what should get the tail end of what you're doing in your life. But, I thank God that I'm able at times to jump on and be able to converse with, the YouTube community and the family and friends and people that, have grown accustomed to seeing comments from them. And definitely socializing, especially now, man, because we shut up. It's bored. My days off is, I ain't doing nothing, man. I'm just in the house. There's nowhere to go, nothing to do. So, you know, but I appreciate each and every person that continues to, you know, drop a comment or even support me by watching the videos I bring out. And, I'm going to do some research on certain things, and hopefully I can learn a little bit more about the 5G. I've heard so many different things about 5G, but as it stands, I'm not really, I'm not really sure how it's going to move from this point forward. But I would like to thank All Time Flat, Flat Earth community. Continue to support. I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody that, loves your boy. Yeah, man, it's going to be a long road ahead, but I encourage each and every one of you to keep pushing. That's what it is. 2020 started off rough, man. And as of right now, it hasn't gotten any better. So, but better times are to come. That's evident. So, keep your heads up, and may you and your family be in good health and good spirits. This is your boy Ace from Ace Corner Talk, and I'm signing out until the next time. Peace. All right. Let's go. Oh, come on now.